The diaphragm, people may know, is the muscle that allows our rib cage to expand when we breathe, and then to contract, create space for your lungs to expand. And that space is what draws in your breath. So if your diaphragm is rigid, then your rib cage is not opening up. You're not getting as much oxygen, and your breath is sort of like labored, like you're working. And it's many muscles involved in this, and big part of it is relaxation. With every breath, you have to expand your diaphragm and then relax it. So if you don't relax it fully, that's a big issue for not getting the next breath. Then is not going to be full. Again, not to alarm people. And there's a lot of different muscles involved. Some people say like every muscle in the body in one way or another is connected with the expansion of every breath. So any diaphragm tips?
Yeah, the diaphragm is interesting too, because people are so worried about their belly expanding. And one of the things that's really important about the diaphragm is it has to drop down in your torso a little bit. And people are so worried about not looking
Yes.
the way that they want to look, they'll hold all that tension there. And interestingly, that tends to push your stomach, like the actual organ, up against the diaphragm. That lifts your liver up. And now you have pressure on both sides of it, which makes it really hard to get a full breath and to allow your nervous system to kind of relax through deep breathing. So the more shallow your breath is, the more likely you are tend to be kind of anxious and stuck in a certain mode in your nervous system. And so you can end up with like digestive problems as well from that. So, one of the best things to do to relax it is just belly breathing, just allowing your belly to move a little bit and relaxing that whole area so that your diaphragm can travel a little bit, which can be really important. People like they miss different parts of how your lungs sit, like where you can expand and get more oxygen. What I notice in people is they got most of their air in their upper part of their chest and very little in the second and lower third of their lungs, so they don't expand that area. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Another one is people like to stand way up and put their head back so it lifts these ribs, and you want these ribs to relax. You want all the ribs to relax so that you can move 360 degrees with each breath. And you don't have to force it open, you just have to not restrict it. And that's what we tend to do for all kinds of reasons, is restrict the breath. And you want to get it everywhere that you can without forcing the breath itself.
Now, one thing that I'm always trying to work on, this essential skill, in my opinion, when you said that if a person feels anger or fear, then there's this or that impact. But often you're not consciously feeling the anger or fear. You're telling yourself, I'm not angry, I'm not fearful. What's your suggestion for that?
I think nothing's more important, like when you're trying to figure those things out, than to get some of your awareness on your body. So most of us are so outward with our attention. I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you, and I'm looking at the computer and I'm looking, hey, are the lights doing everything right? I don't have much attention on my body. And so I think the first step to really understanding some of those things, if you're going to go through your body to understand your emotions, is to get your attention on your body. And as you do that, it'll calm your mind down a little bit. And then you're more aware of the emotions, and then your mind kind of catches up to it over time. So it can be easy to miss, right? And we have all these emotional habits that can kind of like, they get so automatic we miss them. And to break that up, you can really get your attention on your body for a while. Your mind becomes quiet, and then you become more aware.
I would like to say that worked for me, but actually, so let me tell you what happened to me. I took yoga for 10 years, and they were always telling you to put your attention on your body. But somehow I have linked, quote unquote, attention with trying to make my body do something. They're always telling you to expand. So I expand. So then if I wake up in the middle of the night for a split second of like, I wake up slightly conscious, and then I become aware of my body, and then I try to make it expand intentionally, and that wakes me up. I can't fall back to sleep once I'm trying to force it to do something. So what's your suggestion for that?
Yeah, I think a lot of times we get awareness and consciousness confused with thought or trying to do something or judgment of something or some kind of emotionalizing. And it takes some time to reverse that because we were all trained that way because we went to school and we wanted to learn all these things and we were packing our mind with all this information. So to really get that to shut down is quite a process. And a lot of meditations are built to do that, and so you need some way to make your mind almost like fall asleep while you're still conscious and aware so that it falls apart from you. And that is not necessarily the easiest process, especially in the way we do things now. And so a nice just way of getting attention out of your mind a little bit is, again, the dimension of the body, but not trying to do anything with it. And so you might go through your body in different places where you have no idea of what it should be doing. So you're like, oh, I'm going to feel my right fingernail on my thumb, and then I'm going to do my left fingernail on my thumb, and then I'm going to do my pinky, and then you just move it around faster than you might have judgment about what it should be doing. And that'll help kind of calm it down a little bit. If you wanted to do that through your body, that's a good way.
Great. I have to say I like that concept. No idea of what it should be doing. Although I have to say I have done that, but like even just like trying to, okay, I'm going to focus on this. How long do I focus on that? Okay, then how long until I move to the next thing? So all of this, like, I don't know, it's like turning on my intentionality, which wakes me up, I guess.
Yeah, and
So,
there's like this separation between your attention and your awareness, and like trying to expand that space so it's bigger and bigger can be really important, especially if you're kind of high functioning and you've accomplished a lot. It's really a step to just like let that go. And it's so early in the process because your intention is so close to your awareness, where your body is farther away. And so if you can find the space between where things become quiet, where there's little thought, and put a little attention on there, where that space is, like in between music, you hear a note, there's some space, and then there's a note and some space. You can kind of do that with your mind between the thoughts or between the intentions of what you want to do, and focus on that space, and it'll get bigger in your awareness. And at first it might be a microsecond, and then maybe you get it to a second after a while, and then you get it to 2 seconds. And then if you practice it for a while, you can get so your mind just goes quiet. And that can be really helpful for breaking free. And then you'll be able to feel more of the emotions in your body.
what about when people are in chronic pain and then when they focus on it, they feel it more?
Yeah, in that case, you want to get your attention off your body and then work on the problem. Obviously, you got to get the pain down somehow. In that case, I have other exercises where I'm using more imagination, and I'm using more focus on specific emotions, like define this emotion. How would you create that? You're like, okay, well, I really like cake, and making cakes makes me feel good. And I'm just picking something that's colorful because I like the colors and I like to make this. And you can get your mind a little bit away from your body, but you will need to do something about the pain, because it's really hard to get much done when you're in excruciating pain all the time. And I was there. I know what that's like. And it took me a long time to reverse the process. And so for a while, you need something that you can do with your mind and your emotions to help your body out, so that you're not constantly focusing on where the pain is and then making your body contract more on it. Right.
Yes, exactly. There's a new theory that chronic pain is a pathway, and it's a pathway in your brain. And therefore, when you focus on it, you're activating the pathway, strengthening the pathway, and the goal is to focus on something else, which is, which is very different from what you just said about focusing on your body. So I guess that's why there are 26 steps in your system, right?
Yeah, and I didn't want to leave anything out, right?